Welcome to the Hockey Writers Blackhawks Banter, a weekly show with our top Chicago Blackhawks writing crew, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, game results, and much more. From training camp to the playoffs, from Chelsea Dagger to the Madhouse on Madison, our team covers everything that happens with the Hawks. So get comfortable, grab a beverage. It's time for some Blackhawks Banter. Blackhawks Banter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of Blackhawks Banter, presented by the Hockey Writers and part of a great network of shows and website. Keep you informed all things hockey. My name is Greg Boyce, and I'm the host, and I am welcoming in my two wonderful colleagues over at the hockeywriters.com and Brooke LaForno, Gail Kalchuk. How are we doing today?
Awesome.
Good.
All right. Good. This is episode 57 of the Blackhawks Banter. It's the Ben Smith episode of Blackhawks Banter. I loved
him.
Yes. There were two fun facts I loved about Ben Smith. First, there was a tweet that used to always go around that says you can't spell Ben Smith without B-E-S-T. I love that. That was cool. And he is actually a distant cousin to Eric Idle of Monty Python Flying Circus fame. They're actually related. I thought that was very random and cool as well. So,
what about him being Mr. Captain America? He was Captain America, wasn't he?
I think so, but that was more tongue-in-cheek than actually being related to a guy from Monty Python, which I thought.
All right, you win.
Little Ben Smith trivia to kick off our pre-holiday episode of Blackhawks Banter. So we're just going to get right into it, and we're going to kind of start off with maybe a little bit of a look back at the week that was. Blackhawks had a tough week. I mean, they ended up with 4 points, but that was thanks to a couple of OT losses. So point-wise, they did okay, but it could have been better. So we're going to take a quick look back, some of the things that stood out to us, and maybe a little look ahead too as we get this show started. Gail, we're going to start with you, and you kind of wanted to address something that's been bugging you of lately, and that is the lack of shots on goal from this Hawks team, and pretty much needing a shoot first mentality. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but it was something that kind of stood out to me last week, especially. They just they don't seem to want to shoot the puck. I'm going to go over the Capitals game. Shots on goal were 46-28 for the Capitals. Nashville game 31-19, and the Stars 39-23. So as you can see, really lopsided, especially that 19 shots on goal in the Predators game. It's just unacceptable. I understand that they're a trap team, but you have to find a way to get through. I mean, that they need to. It's just an ongoing theme. So, and I will say that one thing that certainly didn't help is that they took so many penalties. In the Predators game, they gave him 5 power plays, 8 power plays for the Stars. Eight. Well, that included the major for Brett Connolly, but still, lots and lots of time on the penalty kill. And of course, you're not going to shoot the puck when you're on the penalty kill. So that could definitely be a place where automatically, if you just don't go to the box, then you're naturally going to have a chance to have more shots on the goal. But even more so, even just beyond this, they're passing up chances to shoot the puck. They're not being aggressive. I just feel like they need to be more aggressive in that regard. Good things happen when you shoot the puck. So Coach King knows this. I'm just going to kind of wrap this up with a little bit of a quote from him. He quipped, we've just got to keep in their ear. I can't bench any of them for it. If I did, the whole team would be sitting. So less penalties and more shots on goal is something that I think should be a focus moving forward.
For sure. Yeah. And that actually is a really good segue into what Brooke wanted to talk about. She wanted to talk about the recent penalty kill struggles. I mean, as Gail, you just said, they're taking more penalties, which means the penalty kill is being used more, and it's kind of not trending in the right direction. Brooke, what are your thoughts on that PK unit?
So I know that they started off really hot, and that was kind of the one aspect that really the team could trust was the penalty kill, because even the power play was kind of on and off. But something that stands out about this week is that the penalty kill has led to opposition winning games. And so now it's directly kind of impacting kind of the whole game at this point. I think they've let in 12 power play goals over the last 8 games. And during Nashville, the game against Nashville, they let up 2. Against Dallas, they let up 3. And that costed them points. And I think we talked about this before. Greg, I think you've said this before. They don't have the offensive talent to overcome those mistakes. They don't have the scoring to back it up. So if the penalty kill fails, technically it kind of fails the team because they can't make up for it. So I understand that you can't stay hot the entire year. It's a long season. There's going to be ups and downs. And right now they're just in a slump. You know, they're not acting kind of like how they were before, not as aggressive with clearing pucks. But I do think it will improve eventually. But right now it's costing them games and it's really not fun to see. It's not fun. It's not a good time for the slump to happen.
Yeah, for sure. You said it right perfectly. When you struggle to provide offense at 5-on-5, you can't afford long slumps on special teams, both the power play and the PK. And I've always said for the longest time, if I could have only an elite power play or an elite penalty kill, I would always take an elite penalty kill over an elite power play any day of the week. I think you get more momentum from killing off a penalty than converting on a penalty. It does. That's what they tell us sometimes.
Yeah, that's what they tell us. Yeah.
We don't know much about playing defense here the last couple of seasons, but it has been getting better. I'll just kind of wrap up our first topic with just a couple of little news and notes from the week. And I'll preface this, and for the rest of the show, I should have said this before we started, but we're recording this on Monday evening, 5:00-ish. So the show will come out Tuesday morning. The way things have been just happening around the world of hockey, this could be completely irrelevant by the time you listen to it, you know. So, you know, we are a few hours behind the news by the time you listen to this. 10 breaking stories may happen between the time we record this and the time it gets released. So excuse us if we're not up to date, but you mentioned
we're trying our best.
Yes. Well, the biggest storyline as far as the Hawks are concerned this year came to hopefully a resolution as the Blackhawks and Kyle Beach reached a out-of-court settlement in their lawsuit. We know all the details of the case. We've talked about it, and you know, but basically they've come to an agreement, and it's a confidential settlement, no details, and frankly, it's none of our business anyway. It doesn't make any difference to me what that settlement was. Briefly, Rocky, the Blackhawks made a statement attributed to Rocky and Danny Wirtz and Susan Loggins, who is Kyle Beach's attorney. Briefly just said, Blackhawks hope this resolution will bring some measure of peace and closure for Mr. Beach. As for the Blackhawks organization, we remain steadfast in our commitment to ensure that going forward, this team will be a beacon for professionalism, respect, and integrity in our community. Let's remember that they said that in case some things happen down the road. Let's hold them accountable to those words. That's all I have to say moving forward. I'm glad that's over with and all parties seem to be satisfied. Other little bits of news, Brett Conley suspended 4 games for that scary hit on Tanner Carroll. I think that's justified. Obviously, Brett Conley didn't mean for that to happen. Didn't mean nobody, but you know, what bothers me a little bit is Conley gets 4 games. I'm fine with that, but Jacob Trouba got nothing for his hit. That, you know, similar results against Kara a couple weeks ago. And yes, I don't think Trouba meant to hurt him either, but he saw that Kara was in a vulnerable position and went in for it, and that's what happened. So if Conley's going to get 4 games, I think Trouba should have got something too.
And then Trouba did it the next night to Nathan.
Right, exactly. Exactly. 2 games, 24 hours, taking out 2 guys. Thankfully, the McKinnon for the Avalanche, the McKinnon injury wasn't nearly as serious. But, you know, I guess when you're an established high-paid defenseman, you get a longer leash than a guy just called up from the AHL. And then Calvin DeHaan this afternoon was put into COVID protocol we'll touch on that whole subject as a whole later. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about, we got the World Junior Championships coming up starting on Sunday, Boxing Day in Canada, the day after Christmas. The Blackhawks will have 4 prospects taking part in the tournament. If you're interested in watching and follow along, 3 of the 4 are on Team USA. We don't have Sean, our Canadian counterpart, here this week, so I'm safe to say Team USA, the ones we're all going to be watching. They have goalie Drew Comesso, who is going to be their starter. Defenseman Wyatt Kaiser and forward Landon Slaggart are all playing for Team USA, and also defenseman Michael Krudel will be playing for Czechia. That's what they want us to call them now. That was an official statement. So no more Czech Republic. Czechia is their official name. So that's kind of fun to say. I like that. So
Czechia.
I don't feel like I'm going to remember that. We'll be talking about it, and I'll say Czech Republic.
Check, please. Czechia.
Yes. Just like it's not the East Coast Hockey League anymore. It's just the ECHL. It's now Czechia. But just a quick reminder and a shameless plug, if you can't get enough World Junior, we've been previewing all of the teams over at the Prospect Corner. So while you're on the YouTube channel checking us out, Blackhawks Banter, look for the Prospect Corner. We've got all your World Junior coverage and more to come over on that show as well. So that kind of wraps up our week, our look back, our look ahead. Just one game on tap for the Blackhawks this week. So now we're going to have a little fun. We're in that 'tis the season. It's Christmas time. It's the holiday season. And Gail, you put together a fun little piece for us that we're going to incorporate in today's show. And that was our Dear Santa list for the Blackhawks, where we all kind of made our Christmas wish and hope to see under the hockey Christmas tree come Christmas Day. Brooke, what was your biggest Blackhawks Christmas wish? We'll start with you.
We do have a lot of big wishes, right? But my wish this year was to see either Nylander or Reichel called up at some point. I know we keep talking about this, and I'm sorry I keep stressing this every week, but I am getting really sick of it myself, is the lack of offense, and I feel like I can't. It's freaking frustrating. I'm sorry, guys, but I know we talked about not rushing Reichel, and he came back from a concussion just recently, and it's not really that. I think technically we'd probably see him maybe more towards the end of the season, like maybe the last few games if they're out of a playoff spot. But Nylander, at this point, I feel like the offense can't get much worse. I mean, I think there's 9 goals combined on the bottom 6, and it's not going to cut it. I know Nylander, there's a lot of give and take there. I know a lot of fans aren't really happy with him because he was pretty streaky when he was here, when he played. But like I said, at this point, he's producing right now. He's one of the leading goal scorers behind Reichel in Rockford. And that's what you want to see, I think, out of any forward in the organization. So I know there's been criticism there too about how his AHL production never matches the NHL production. But like I said, it can't get much worse at this point. He said he's feeling confident. Confident player is a dangerous player. I don't know. Try shaking something up. I know there's not really much they can do trade-wise because we don't have much to trade, unless they do a DeBrusk trade, which we talked about before. But at this point, like I said, something has to give here. It can't be much worse. So that's my wish at some point.
Yeah, I'd like to see Nylander get up there and see what he can do. And maybe that gives maybe he gets hot and all of a sudden he gets some trade value if you don't think he's part of the future of the organization. Reichel, I would like to keep in the AHL the rest of the year for selfish reasons, because I got to watch all these Ice Hawks games and I need something exciting to watch. If you take away my Lucas Reichel, it's going to be even harder to stomach some of those Ice Hawks games, because they try hard, but do not play exciting hockey down there in Rockford. Kale, what was your wish from Mr. Kloss this year?
Okay, so I am wishing for a more consistent power play for the Blackhawks. They were hot the first 10 games, 10 of 38 power plays for 26% success rate. Which actually would be 4th in the league. It's currently 4th in the league right now, those numbers. But then the next 10 contests, they were a horrific 1 for 28 on the man advantage, which is like a low league, like 4%. But in the most recent 10 games, since we're at 30 games right now, Blackhawks have scored 7 times on 34 tries, and that works out to a 21% success rate, which is about middle of the league standard. So that's nice, but it's a bit misleading because they did actually score 3 power play goals on that hot night when they were against Washington Capitals. So clearly they're struggling in this area, and they're just not being consistent. There's the consistency. They sorely missed Tyler Johnson, who actually was right-handed shot, made a huge impact on the top unit. And since then, they've experimented with a lot of different options. They tried putting Alex Brinkett and Seth Jones on the second unit for more balance. They've utilized Brandon Hagel, Ryan Carpenter, even Brett Connolly in the bumper role. And Dylan Strome has bounced back and forth. So, but nothing really seems to be doing the trick. And I just think that if they could be more consistent on the power play, it would go a long way towards racking up more wins. So maybe Santa can drop some kind of magic potion down the United Center chimney for them on the power play.
Yes. Or at the very least, he can be he can sit in the 300 level and yell, shoot, too, like everybody else does. Which
Yes,
you said they need to do more of, and you're not wrong. My Santa wish was kind of more big picture, nothing specifically to this season, but I want this Blackhawks team to have a direction, to finally pick a lane and stay in it. It's something I've talked about. We've talked about before. Hire a full-time GM, get your long-term coach in there and embrace the rebuild, embrace it. It's okay. They wrote this letter. Former GM Stan Bowman wrote a letter saying we're going to rebuild, and then didn't really do anything that says they're rebuilding. The course this past summer, he loaded up with big time acquisitions like Seth Jones, like Marc-Andre Fleury. The list goes on and on. We all know why that was really done, not necessarily because he thought they had a chance, but they just needed some good PR because they knew bad PR was coming. So, just get your GM in there. My ultimate wish list, I've said it before, Kevin Weeks. I love Kevin Weeks. Give him the job already. And I want them to hire a GM and a president who's got no ties to this organization. I know Eddie Olczyk is popular amongst the fans to bump him in the front office. I think that's a horrible idea, and that's not a slam on Eddie. Just he's too tied into this organization, and nothing will change. Even if you take the interim tag off of Kyle Davidson, I'm totally against that too. And and I'm sure he's a great guy and good at his job, but again, he's been in this organization, I think, since 2012, if my memory serves me correct, working under Stan Bowman. And again, the last time the Blackhawks tried to be outside of the box and let's get the next big thing before he's the next big thing, it was Jeremy Colleton, and that was a complete failure. So let's get somebody who's got some experience, who has no connections to this team, so he can come in and make those tough decisions that a guy that may have a 10-year relationship with somebody in the organization doesn't want to fire somebody. Get somebody in here that makes those tough calls, and let's get a direction. Let's pick a lane. Let's stay there. Let's get this whole franchise moving in the same direction. Because right now, nobody knows what's going on. We're rebuilding. We're contending. We kind of stink now, but we still want to contend. Like, just for the love of pizza, pick a lane. All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yes, there's my
another Oscar-worthy speech.
Maybe Emmys. We're more like TV, radio. Maybe it's an Emmy award winner.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said
that's
that.
All right. Well, we get us on the big screen. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Oscar ain't a bad gig.
Just a quick reminder before we move on to the second half of our show. Already mentioned the YouTube channel. If you're watching over there, thank you, and please hit that subscribe button to the Hockey Writers channel so you don't miss any of our great shows. Mentioned the Prospect Corner. We've got Chicks and Sticks. We've got all kinds of great shows, team-oriented shows. We've got a Coyotes show right now. They pay their bills. Oilers show, Maple Leafs, Red Wings, all kinds of great stuff over there. So check it out. Stay informed. Also, you can sign up for that great Morning Skate newsletter that comes directly to your inbox 5 days a week. Some great exclusive features in there that you can only find on the Morning Skate. So if you haven't added your email to that list, head over to morningskate.io and do that. You won't regret it. And we're also on Discord too. You can join the conversation over there. The Hockey Lounge is where you can find all of us and join the conversation. Add your comments, your questions. We love hearing from you guys, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter. You can follow us all there. On Discord, we love hearing from you guys and try to incorporate it as much as we can. So there's our mid-show reminders. And of course, just head over to hockeywriters.com. You can read all of our great stuff. You can read Gail's Dear Santa posts. Brooke just came out with a really good piece on her number one favorite player, Alex Nylander.
I was waiting for this moment. I was born for this moment.
There's a lot of good stuff over there, not just Blackhawks, but all across the board. And as news breaks, we're going to be on top of it for you guys. So now we're going to move on to our third little topic here, and it's something we're going to try and do weekly, and that's give a little shout out to a player that we all think deserved it. May not be the guy who had the most goals or the most points or made the highlight reel play, but somebody that we've noticed, and we just want to say, hey, we see you and we like what you're doing. Gail, who you want to give a shout out to this week?
All right, I would like to shout out to Mackenzie Entwistle. He actually came back the last 3 games from an ankle injury, so he's been out for a while. And in the Capitals game, his goal was the third goal of 3 goals in 34 seconds, which was pretty exciting. So it was nice to see him getting rewarded, doing the dirty work right there in front of the net. He knocked it in. And at the time, he was actually thrown out on a line with Brandon Hagel and Jonathan Toews. And so that was cool that he capitalized on that. And then the next 2 games, he actually did kind of go back and forth between being with Hagel and Toews, and then the third line of Kirby Dach and Dominic Kubalik. So in the Predators game, he earned a primary assist on Kirby Dach's goal. Oh my God, Kirby Dach scored a goal. He shot the puck. But
Christmas miracle.
It is.
It is. So, but Entwistle gave him a beautiful pass from behind the net after a really nice forecheck to set Dach up for a pretty easy goal there. So Entwistle's a big body at 6'3". He's not afraid to be physical. In the last 3 games, he's had 7 hits. And I was actually tooting Entwistle's horn before he was sidelined with his ankle injury. So it's good to see that he picked up where he left off.
For sure. And he's got the best nickname in the locker room, Twisty. That's his nickname, Twisty.
I like it. It's so catchy.
How do you not like a guy that you can call Twisty? Brooke, I'm not sure about your players, if he's got a cool nickname or not, but who do you want to talk about?
Well, when we talked about this, actually, the first player that came to my mind is Kurashev. He kind of started off really struggling this season, which was kind of shocking because he ended on a high note last year. Yeah. But he was sent down to Rockford, I think, for only 2 games, and then he was recalled, and everyone's like, okay, he was there for 2 games. That should do the trick, like jokingly. And then all of a sudden, he's been, I think, one of the most noticeable forwards in the lineup, which probably isn't a good thing. If Kurashev is the most noticeable forward, then it might be an issue. But I love what he's been doing lately. He's just been taking more shots. He's actually had really prime scoring chances in the last couple games. I know that hasn't translated yet, but you have to think the more opportunities you get, it has to go in at some time. So I think he's just done a really good job. He's got a really good hustle about him lately. And you know what? That's what you want to see out of him. So I'm happy for him. And hopefully that translates maybe into some offense soon.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes that just brief reminder that your job is not guaranteed to give you a kick in the pants, and that might have worked. He did have a goal in those 2 games. He was in Rockford. So yeah,
In Rockford.
Yeah, one goal, and that hopefully that did the trick. He's a nice little bottom 6 player for sure. My guy I'm giving out to, I've got to do it, being charter member of #Team Kales. I gotta give some love to Caleb Jones, who had a really nice week. In case you missed it, beginning of the season, we were talking about Caleb Jones and maybe come up with a fun nickname, and I suggested call him Kale because Jonathan Toews would be his biggest fan, since we know the captain loves his homegrown vegetables. So that's where that came from, in case you're wondering if you see the Team Kales. But he was really good this week. He had picked up his first point as a Blackhawk with an assist in that Washington Capitals game. And then, hey, Derek King puts him out in overtime, and he wins the game with his first goal, overtime goal. Super cool. Great moment. Nobody on the ice enjoyed that more than he did. So that was fun to see. And then in that Dallas game, he had another assist. And I thought was really cool was that Derek King started Seth and Caleb Jones together as they were playing in their hometown. They were both born in Dallas. when their dad was playing for the Dallas Mavericks. So I thought that was a really classy, cool touch. Those are little moves that a guy like Derek King, why his players love him, little things like that. I thought that was cool, but then he had a pretty good game. He had another assist. He had 23 of ice time. That's the third most he's played in a single game this year. So obviously the trust is starting to pick up. Maybe that's out of necessity because we've been missing some guys on the back end, but he's rounding out to be exactly what he was brought in here for when we traded him, when we acquired him in the Duncan Keith trade, a dependable third pairing guy that you can trust in his own end, and maybe every once in a while add a point or two. His Corsi for percentage is at 48.5% right now, which is exactly in line with his career average. So he's doing exactly what he's done. And that comes with starting 54.4% of his shifts in the defensive zone. So he's been starting more shifts in the D end than the O end this year. So again, that's a sign that Derek King trusts him. And sometimes once you know as a player that your head coach trusts you, your season can take off in the right direction there. So Team Kales all the way. I'm big fan of what's been going on with young Mr. Jones.
For sure.
So we're gonna move on to our last segment. It's the shootout round. Everybody seems to love the shootout round. So and my first question might be completely changed by the time this airs. Should the NHL pause its season until it gets COVID under control? And I'll preface this that just before we started recording, Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoff, formerly TSN, tweeted out that that decision could be made as quickly as tomorrow morning. So maybe by the time this airs, we already. So I'll rephrase the question. If the NHL pauses the season, are you a fan of that, or you think they need to try and make it through? So Brooke, we'll start with you. COVID pause, yes or no?
Yes, because I think it's unfair to the teams that are fully shut down.
For sure. Yes, definitely. Some team misses the playoffs by 1 point because they had to play a game with 15 guys. That's just not right. Gail, what do you think on the COVID pause?
Well, the teams that are shorthanded, definitely, yes. But if there's teams that just have one or two guys out, like Alex Brinkett said, we just like to play hockey. And if they have a chance to play games where there's really where it's not really going to affect anything, then I guess I would say that maybe take it more on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, the problem is we're running out of teams that are like that. 9 teams have their facilities closed as of now, and there's only 7 games left between now and the Christmas break. So at this point, yeah, let's figure it out. Let's just, it's not getting any better. So just take a couple weeks off here and see what happens. Get this thing under control. Because it's just, I don't think it's hard to come up with a right answer for this, because you're not going to please everybody. So you just got to make a decision and run with it. Along those same lines, with everything going on, are you in favor of the NHL players opting out of the Olympics? Do you think it's worth it? Gail, what do you think?
Yes, I think they should opt out of the Olympics. I think it's just too risky. And that would be a perfect time to make up these games that are now being canceled, postponed. I understand that it's a huge honor and it's the chance of a lifetime for a lot of different people. But in this case, with the state of the world right now, I just think that the cons outweigh the pros and they should not go.
For sure. Brooke, do you agree? No Olympics for the NHL?
Yeah, like Gail said, I agree that it is a huge honor, and that's what's kind of sucky about the whole thing, and I get it, but you don't know what's going to happen. They could get stuck there if there's a big outbreak, and then the NHL season might not continue. I don't know. There's just a lot of unanswered questions there, so probably.
Yeah, and I mean, according to the Chinese government, if you test positive while there, you have to quarantine in China for 21 days. Okay? Yeah, no. You see Alex Ovechkin having to stay in China for 3 weeks? I don't think so. It's not worth it. personally, I don't think the Olympics should happen, period. Not just for the NHL players. I don't think anybody should be traveling. These are how global pandemics stay global. When you send everybody from around the world to a central location and send them all right back, it just makes no sense. And the fact that the NHL is no longer in bed with NBC, they don't really have to get pressure from them about TV ratings for hockey. I think it's dumb. Gail, you kind of hinted at it. The perfect thing for me to do. Here's how I would do this. Pause the season all the way to New Year's Day. Your first game back will be the Winter Classic. You may actually get some buzz for this game that's generating no buzz. I actually had to look up. I forgot who the two teams were this year. In case you're like me, Minnesota and the Blues. God, can't wait for that. Pause the season till January 1st. Your outdoor game is your first game back when people are starved for hockey. And then take this 2-week chunk and plop it in that 2 weeks that would have been the Olympics. Boom, bang, boom. You're done. All right. Hopefully that's all it takes, and we don't need any kind of further pauses. So we do know as of now that the Blackhawks are going to play Thursday night. They were supposed to play later on Tuesday evening against the Panthers, but the Panthers are one of those two teams shut down, so that's not happening. Rematch with the Dallas Stars at the UC Thursday night. Let's get a quick final score prediction and who scores that game-winning goal. Brooke, who you got?
So I think the Hawks are going to win 3-2. And I'm going to say the game-winning goal will go to Taze. I don't know. Something about that sticking out.
Gail, what is your prediction for our lone Hawks game this week?
4-2 Blackhawks, and the winning goal is going to be Dylan Strome because, darn it, he took 6 shots on goal last game. 6 shots on goal. He was the outlier.
Imagine what a little bit of confidence can do for a hockey player. I am going to predict 4-2 Blackhawks win 2. They're due. 4-2. I am going to say that it will be Brandon Hagel with the game-winning goal, and then I'm going to go. My guy Caleb is going to throw in a empty netter at the end of the game. We got to get those points padded for Team Kales here. So 4-2 Hawks. Hagel with the game winner. So
positivity. Greg is not being negative.
Yes, I know. It's a bizarre world right now.
They match up well against Dallas, though, for whatever reason. The Hawks.
Yeah, as long as they don't give them a 5-minute major in the first period, they should be okay this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
Good point.
All right, let's end with a couple of fun questions. It's almost Christmas, so let's get into the festive mood here. Not a hockey question, but what's your favorite Christmas movie? Everybody has a favorite movie. Gail, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Well, it hasn't changed since last year, so anybody that's watching will remember that I chose It's a Wonderful Life. I love that show. I love that movie.
Yes, I couldn't remember if we did this question or not last year, but we're going to do it again because maybe things have changed. Brooke, refresh us. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Yes, I said my favorite was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I just love that movie. I watch it even when it's not Christmas, but I guess for something new, I'll say The Polar Express because that's a top or close second.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Love The Polar Express.
Yeah. I'm not huge in the Christmas movies, but there are some that I do enjoy. It's a Wonderful Life is one of my all-time favorite movies. I cry every time in that movie. I admit it. I break that movie, gets me in all the feels. I love I love A Christmas Story. So many great lines in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm also a big fan of Scrooged with Bill Murray, that version of the Christmas Carol story. That one is pretty entertaining too. So
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, those are the ones. Those are my go-to Christmas movies. I like the specials more than the movies, the TV specials, because they're like 20 minutes long. You can watch a couple and move on. All right, final question. Let's stroll down memory lane. I don't know. Did we do this one last year too? I don't think so. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, let alone what we asked each other a year ago. So, what was your favorite either Blackhawks or hockey related Christmas gift you have ever received? This is a fun little question to end on. Brooke, what was your best hockey or Hawks Christmas gift?
I'm gonna have to say 2013, and on Christmas of 2013, I got a Andrew Shaw jersey, and for any of our viewers, you guys probably have seen me wear it before, but that to me was special because my brothers and my dad have all had like Hawks jerseys, Hosas, Tazes, Canes, blah, blah, blah. But that was really like my first jersey that was just for me. So I'm a little sentimental about it. So that's my favorite.
That's great. That's awesome. That's what Christmas is all about, making memories. Gail, what was your favorite Blackhawks or hockey Christmas gift?
Okay, can you see this?
Oh, I do see it.
Oh, sorry, that's a little dirty over there. But anyway, these are my Blackhawks slippers that I got, I want to say maybe a couple Christmases ago. And I pretty much probably worn them every day since then, unless it's hot and you don't wear slippers in the summer.
Love
Nice.
it. Love it.
Getting some good value out of those. My favorite Hawks related gift was given to me. I was trying to figure it out. I think it was Christmas of 2010, and it was given to me by someone very special who's no longer with us. She paid for and set up the appointment for me to finally get the Blackhawks tattoo I always wanted. So she set it up, paid for it, and a couple weeks later, I was in the chair, or I was actually on the bench because I got it on my leg. My Blackhawks Stanley Cup tattoo. It's a Stanley Cup with the Tomahawk C on it, and then it's got all the years that they've won the cup in the font of the jerseys around it. So even though I still have to add the 15, that's how long it's been since I've seen my tattoo guy, because those things cost money. But that's my sentimental gift, and it's always there to remind me of somebody special who I really miss.
Well, you probably can't really do show and tell on this on here, but you should take a picture and put it on.
Yeah, I can do that. I can tweet out a picture. It needs a touch up. It's getting a little faded. It's been a couple years, but I'll take a picture of it and throw it up there on Twitter so people can take a peek at it. So that was nice. Thanks you for sharing your favorite Christmas memories, because after all, that's what the holidays are all about. It's not about what you actually get, it's about the emotions that are attached to those material things, and you remember the people that gave them to you that may or may not be around, and just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and we need that these days.
Yes, we do.
All right, and that is going to wrap up our Ben Smith episode of Blackhawks Banter. I know I speak for all of us here, not only on Blackhawks Banter, but the hockey writers as a whole, when I wish all of you guys a happy holiday season. Thank you guys for watching, whether you're on YouTube, listening, wherever you get your podcasts. If you guys weren't tuning in, they wouldn't ask us to do this every week. So thank you. Happy holidays to all of you guys. Please be safe and healthy.
Yes.
That's the key. We want to see you guys back here for next week's episode. And I'm always Brooke, Gail. Thank you guys, and happy holidays to you and your families as well.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
We are going to end on a high note, and that's going to wrap it up for this week for Blackhawks Banter. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.